Hey, I'm Ian Stearns. I'm the midlaner for Team Liquid. Um, yeah, it was just my brother. Like me and my older brother would always play computer games when I was younger. We shared one computer, and yeah, you know how it is with an older brother. You copy whatever he's doing. So he stumbled upon League somehow. I don't know how he found it, and then I just played whatever game he played. So he played League, I played League. Oh, for sure, like 100%. If I wasn't a competitive person, like there are just some parts about being a pro that aren't easy, and if I wasn't competitive, I can definitely see myself faltering. So in 2020, I joined a team called Supernova in Amateur, and I just made a lot of friends there. And a bunch of them were people who were currently at Maryville or who were in the future going to attend Maryville, like Evan Orel, the Odd Orange, uh, Clyde was there for a little bit as well. So like just people who have been to Maryville, and then yeah, so like I took my gap year, tried to go pro, failed at doing so, but then my agreement with my parents was that I'd go to college after 1 year, and then, of course, as that year's ending and I'm not getting any offers from pro teams, I started looking, of course, at so the local colleges that were near me that my siblings were going to or like my friends were going to. But then, of course, I was always aware of the esports scene, so I literally messaged the Orange and I asked him like, hey, are you guys gonna need mid laner next semester? And then he got me in contact with Clerky, and I talked to the Clerky, and yeah, that's how I joined. I just had a few conversations with Clerky after the Orange put me in contact with him. I mean, overall, it's good. I mean, for the most part, collegiate was pretty easy until we got to the very end. But like, like we, what's it called? I'm just trying to recap the year. Yeah, we played in the spring like OQs, and then we both actually Bearable teams qualified to the like Proving Grounds tournament thing or whatever it's called. I forget the name by now. And then I played with them there through the spring semester. And the spring semester was pretty easy for me. I took it pretty light for my first semester. Um, and then yeah, CLOL was wrapping up in like right after the spring semester. It took a little bit longer just because how Riot schedules it. So like we had pretty much an entire month just to focus purely on CLOL, and it was just like that was a really fun experience. Just we all the group of guys stayed at the Maryville campus. Just like it was pretty much just only us 10 guys on the campus at all times. Like it was very rare you would see anybody else other than security, who we all started to get accustomed with as well. But yeah, we went through summer. We played CLOL, and then into fall the next semester. It's like it's a lot lighter of a season, but we were still doing like random collegiate tournaments here and there. And then that's why I eventually started getting into tryouts, and eventually when I started to get my offers. As a player, I don't think I improved drastically more at Maryville than I would have if I stayed at home just playing. But I do think as a person, just like it was my first time. Of course, it wasn't a gaming house; it was a college campus. But the esports lab that Maryville had, it was my first time just playing in an esports lab with people, and like everyone would stay like until super late at night. Not, of course, not everyone playing League, but just it was just a very very fun atmosphere to have for the year I was there. Um, it felt like we all grew really close as friends, and just as a person, I think to be honest, I just really grew up at Maryville. Like there was a bunch of things that I was just very childish about or immature, or just random things. And then over the course of the year, as I'm spending time with my friends there and other friends at the Maryville campus, just I would like better myself as a person. So I think as a league player, comparing myself if I did or didn't go, I would probably been very similar. But as just a person, I definitely like just the personal aspect. I'm definitely a lot better off. And that's also not to say I didn't improve. Like I was improving as a
Right.
player. It's just I don't think it was because of the collegiate atmosphere. I think it was just because like I was just improving because I was improving. For sure. I mean, well, of course, there's only 5 players on the league team, and you're like a core part of it. You still have to be a good teammate and do, yeah, literally just be a good teammate. And I would say like Maryville really helped me, and then yeah, of course, I still had some things to work on, and I probably still do have some things to work on from like a teammate perspective wise, but it definitely gave me like a big jump start, being like, hey, I can't be this way around like certain people or just certain teammates, and you have to actually like, the best way I can put it is it just like it jump started me growing up and like leaving my, I don't want to say past self because I'm still the same person at the core, but just like just all the immaturity, like jump starting the immaturity. Yeah, no, it was really fun. That was like my first experience of being in person with a team while we're scrimming or while we're playing games or just solo queuing or like or doing whatever. So that was like, yeah, the best thing I describe is really fun. It's so much easier to have tough conversations with your teammates in person than it is over call. You can look someone in the eye and read their body language and listen more intently to them while you're in person. So I truly enjoyed it. Clerky and all the Maryville staff were very big on just like school first. If like there were, I think it was like every week or every 2 weeks there were grade checks, and if I recall, it was like a 3.0 GPA that you had to have, and if you had less than that, you had to talk with some of the staff at Maryville and they would just ask you like, why do you have 2 C's here? Why do you have just bad grades? And yeah, if you could improve, you would like, they would either force you to go to tutoring, or they would only give you lab access for like certain hours of the day, etc., etc. But yeah, like it was very much like school focused first, and then after school is like accomplished for the day or accomplished for the week or whatever. Then you're allowed to just do what other responsibilities you had. And we didn't have the most amount of responsibilities. It would be like 3 times a week we would scrim, and it'd be like 3 hours for that. So Monday we'd scrim, Wednesday we'd scrim, Friday we'd scrim. So it wouldn't be the most amount of time, and then we'd have a match Saturday or something. Yeah, I mean, I was just always really high rated, and like in solo queue, and I was doing well, like kind of okay, like okay in amateur, and I was just like, I think I just hit rank 1 like a few times over and over and over. So I got invited to a whole bunch of like public scouting combines, and then I was doing extremely well in the scouting combines. And yeah, I remember like at least a tipping point for me was actually the Team Liquid scouting combine, which is a more public one as far as I remember. And I was just like really smurfing that combine, and after that I just got a tremendous amount of offers. I got a whole bunch of academy teams wanted me, one LCS team wanted me, and I literally used Clerky as a resource. I sat down with Dan, and I just went like, hey, I have these offers, Dan, and then we would just talk about each one, and we came to the conclusion to go to Team Liquid Academy team.
Clerky, just as an individual person, was a really valuable mentor for you in your career development.
Yeah, I mean, he genuinely cares so much about like just everyone within the program. I always felt like I could go to him, and with any qualms I didn't really have that many qualms, but if I ever wanted to, I could. And so yeah, when I started to get all these offers and stuff, I just went to Dan, and I was like, not that it was like overwhelming, but just that he's been in the scene for so long, he understands it probably at the time better than I do, and honestly probably still now. So yeah, I just looked to him for guidance, and then that's pretty much what he gave me. Well, right now it's very lax because, of course, we're in off season, or we just started off season, so I don't really have much responsibilities now. But at least during the season, it was like, I'd wake up at like 9:45. I'd brush my teeth, throw some clothes on. The office is like a short walk from my apartment, so I just walk to the office. Get to the office by like 10:15. Eat, continue waking up, start scrims at 11. 11 to 2 scrim. We have like an hour break, give or take, depending on when the scrims end in the first block, and then 3 to 6 scrim. And then either we would have a night block at like 8 or 9, or we would just pretty much just be expected to play solo queue. It was kind of like an unsaid thing, no one was forcing you to play solo queue, but like it was just a very expected thing for you to play solo queue. And then most people would stay until 1. I think I would leave at 12 because I would go to the gym at midnight. And then from midnight to 1, I would go to the gym, and then I get back to my apartment, go shower, and then pretty much just head to bed. My days were pretty packed with practicing of some sorts. And then that's pretty much what I did for like every day we'd practice. On match days, of course, you'd go play your match, and then we weren't really expected to do much else after our match because we were always given an off day the day after our match. And then even on the off day, me and most of my teammates would just come into the office and be here for like 8 some hours, talking with each other about what happened, reviewing, and just playing solo queue.
It seems that you have this really strong kind of attitude and drive that comes from within that's pushing you to keep tackling all of these things.
Yeah, of course. I think like at the end of the day, I can't control any of my teammates, how much they play the game or how well they click their buttons in the game, but I can of course control myself. So
Right.
while it's easy to say this while calm, and of course while tensions are high, some things can get heated, but at the end of the day, I agree with what you said. Like, I can truly only control myself, so I just have to hope that my teammates also care about their performance as well, which of course they do. And if everyone puts in 110% effort, you'll be fine. Well, I love playing on stage, like any stage, either it's LCS stage or when I was in Korea for Worlds last year, Worlds this year in Europe, when I was at MSI for China, or when I was in Saudi for the EWC tournament. Just any of those moments playing on stage is it's always just very fun to hear the crowd, just cheer for you, cheer for your team, and even if you end up losing it, while it sucks in the moment, it's nice to listen to the crowd just like cheer for the other teams as well. Well, I think the obvious answer is just it gives players, like I can only really speak for like high level players. I can't speak for anything else, but just high level players, the continued chance to keep aspiring for a goal, which to me was LCS. For others, I would imagine it's the same. But also progressing their life, because there are tons of people who, just sat in amateur for the longest time and wouldn't be going to college, wouldn't be doing anything. They would just play League. And while of course that's really good for improving yourself as a person, being a pro is really hard, and there's only so many people that can be pros in NA. So just having that, like, I don't even call it as a failsafe, but just having that joint life is a good way to put it. Having the joint life of aspiring to go pro and still pursuing that, but also getting your education. It gives at least the elite players that have a chance to make it an extended opportunity. One thing that was kind of shocking to me was Clarky was just always looking to literally just scout like the next talent that he could pick up from Maryville, whether it was like from solo queue. Like there was constant times where he would like ask me and be like, "Hey, do you know any top laners? Like, do you know any young top laners that are probably gonna like either finish in high school or like still like 19, 20?" So I think that's like that was the most eye-opening. Den was always just like very on top of keeping the program like upkeep us in a sense, because like a whole bunch of very talented players came to Maryville at the start, and then as the years went on, they graduated, more would have to come. So yeah, that was the most like shocking thing to me. And even when I was leaving, he was like constantly hounding me over just like, "Hey, who do you think the next Midlaner can be?" I think advice would just be to seize the opportunities, like there was a ton of opportunities Maryville gave me. And well, of course, some of them were, some of them I was using, but like some of them I weren't using. They offered to pay for like tutoring and stuff like that, and just using Clerky as a better mentor, and some of the other staff within the Maryville scene. They were all very like, of course, they worked in the lab that we played in, so they're always available just to go talk to, and just like on top of myself improving at Maryville, I also just like improved tremendously as a person, because I think for most competitive games, especially League, but just most other competitive games, you still have to be a good teammate to succeed. An analogy I've been given was that Michael Jordan, he was widely known as not a very good teammate, but there's only one Michael Jordan. It's just the best way to put it. You have to be so extraordinarily good to be allowed to be a shit teammate, and if you're not that Michael Jordan, you just have to learn to be a good teammate, or else you'll get recycled out by someone who is. Just thanks for the interview, and to any of the fans that would watch this, I appreciate you guys, and to any younger students that are going into any part of collegiate, I don't think of it as like a failsafe. I think of it just as like a joint life. Of course, you're getting your college degree, but then you can still pursue what at least what was for me, your aspiration to be a pro.